At the beginning of 2023, when I did my state of my channel video, which I always think are kind of cringy, I said that I wanted to spend most of my efforts in 2023 doing upgrades to my firearms, by putting stocks and optics and stuff like that on them. But what I ended up doing was a little bit of that and a whole lot more of buying ammo, reloading ammo, and uh, upgrading my entire collection of firearms. So recently, I decided to get a little bit back to the spirit of what 2023 was supposed to be for my channel. I decided I wanted to do some upgrades to my newly acquired second take at a KelTec Sub 2000. So what I've been trying to figure out is a better way to mount optics on this thing because I really don't like the factory sights. And yes, I can just buy an M Carbo upgraded rear sight and it'll help a little bit, but I really wanted to get my cheek and my nose off of the buffer tube on this. So I got a couple of different options here for mounting optics on this. The first one that I just showed was a 45-degree offset M-lock rail. And I wanted an M-lock rail instead of a top mount rail because it puts it a little bit further away from the folding point of the gun so that it will clear. And then I also decided to try one of these really inexpensive Chinese made quick release lever style Picatinny rails. And as soon as I opened this thing up, I knew it was kind of going to be a piece of garbage. It's really cheap, but it was like $8. I figured if the concept works and this particular quick release really sucks, I can always spend a little bit more money on a quick release. It was worth the try, and I can return it if I don't like it within 30 days anyway. So there's two mounting options. And in my previous Sub 2000 video, I mentioned that I bought a Crimson Trace red dot. I really like those. It's basically the same thing as a SIG Romeo 5, just for less money. And I decided to try out a undermount laser and flashlight combination as well. Now again, I realize these are very, very cheap. This was like a $23 part that I got off of eBay. Again, I'm really trying the concept of this type of stuff rather than spending a lot of money on high-end stuff that I don't like. I figured it was worth taking a shot at a $20, $25 laser light combo that goes underneath the gun. And even if the laser breaks after 2 or 3 rounds, you still have a little flashlight that, again, for close quarter contact, it'll allow you to turn a light on in the gun so you can see what you're doing if you had to use this at night. May or may not keep it on there, but I figured it was worth a try. Came with some batteries, so let's go ahead and try putting this stuff on the gun. Now, I'm going to speed this up here in a little bit because this definitely will get tedious just watching me bolt stuff on and off the gun. But here you can see I'm trying out the green laser and the flashlight. The flashlight itself isn't bad. It has a high level, a low level, and a strobe function. And then it has the green laser built into it, so you can use one or the other or both of these options at any point in time. So again, figured it was worth a try. Even if the flashlight's halfway decent and you don't end up using the laser, still worth a try. The purpose of trying the laser on the bottom of the rail is really in the event that you don't want to worry about a red dot. Either you don't want to worry about the battery failing, or you like using the iron sights on this gun, but you want something that can give you a little bit better granularity at distance or in low light conditions. The laser, again, kind of just something fun to try. The two red dot options I have on this, again, being that I can have the 45-degree offset mount or the quick release one, really makes it a little bit versatile depending on where I end up putting it. But the laser and the flashlight, again, always good to have in a close quarter gun that you're using. So let's take a look at this 45-degree offset rail. The quality of this actually looks pretty good. The nuts and the screws and everything on it are in pretty good condition. I mean, it looks like it's quality made. Obviously, it's Chinese or Korean made, and it's a knockoff of some other better brand. But again, realistically, I just want to try this stuff in the spirit of the build. It's a low-cost gun. I don't really feel like putting, hundreds of dollars of scopes and rings and expensive rails and things like that on it. So I wanted to try something out that was less expensive that would still function the way I wanted it to. So the nice thing about these Crimson Trace lights, they actually have about a half-inch riser on them that you can take off and get them really close down to the rail. So in the case of having one of these like on my Ruger PC carbine, I can actually still use the factory sights on it because you can see through the riser on this thing and see the factory sights, or if you wanted to use this on something that has a lower comb, or you just want to get it really close to the rail, you can take that 1/2 inch riser off and it'll work just as well. But in this particular application, because I'm trying to get my head off of the buffer tube from this gun, having that extra 1/2 inch of space really makes it worthwhile, where you don't have to crane your head so far to the side to be able to see through it. And in this particular case, where I'm trying to use it with the riser on the 45-degree offset coming off of the M-lock on the side of this handguard, it works out even better because that extra 1/2 inch allows it to clear the entire buffer tube when it's folded up. Now, after messing around with both of these solutions, and you'll see kind of as the video goes along, I think the 45-degree offset coming off of the M-lock is really going to be the better solution in the long term. And the main reason is you don't have to take anything on and off the gun. Now, it does make the foregrip a little bit wider when it's folded up, so it adds an extra couple of inches of width to this thing. In most cases, that wouldn't be an issue. The one thing I'm a little bit concerned about is banging that on something when it's folded up. I don't want to wreck the red dot. And you can see here that I'm putting some pretty good tension on that rail, and either the screws are a tiny bit too long, or I need to put like a piece of foam under that rail to keep it from moving. Still had a tiny bit of movement, but overall, I like the 45-degree offset. It puts it in a pretty good location. You can still use the iron sights on this gun, but when you fold it out, you do have that red dot. You just kind of tilt it to the right. And originally, I was a little bit concerned because after I put all the M-Carbo upgrades on this thing, that 2-finger charging handle sticks out about 2.5 inches from the bottom of the buffer tube. And I thought holding the gun at a 45-degree angle that reciprocating charging handle would actually be hitting my forearm. Doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem. So again, the 45-degree mount may be a good solution, but I did want to try this quick release mount as well. And realistically, the quick release mount allows you a lot of freedom to be able to put the red dot anywhere you want on the top of the rail. So if you like it closer to your eye or further away from your eye, it works out pretty well. And it allows you the ability to put the red dot on the bottom of the rail, so you can just pull it off, fold it up, and stick it on the bottom of the rail. One other thing I thought about trying was the ability of putting a short piece of M-lock rail actually on the inside of the buttstock where the ribbing is. If I ground some of that ribbing off and drilled a couple of holes in it so I could put a small tiny piece of rail there, then I could effectively take the red dot off, fold it up inside the buttstock so it's completely covered and nothing is going to get smacked when it's folded up. But I have not done that yet. Here again, you can just see I'm trying out the flashlight on top of the gun, and I'm also looking through the red dot. It seems like both of these setups are viable with the red dot on the 45-degree offset or on the rail itself with that quick release. Again, you can see here folding the gun up, it's still pretty compact. If I put it on the bottom of the rail when it's folded up, it sticks up about 2.5 inches above the rail, which makes it a little bit more bulky. But realistically, again, now I have a couple of different options if I want to mount it on the top of the rail, on the side of the rail, or again, if I end up putting a little piece of Picatinny rail, this is where that red dot would end up when it's folded.